Tonight I was feeling a little brave, so I thought I would talk about something that's a sensitive subject, and that's suicide. So I want you to know that I've only attempted suicide once, and that I was very, very sick and in a very bad life situation and very psychotic. But I did something that I shouldn't have done that led to me being hospitalized for suicide in the intensive care unit. And I've had multiple doctors tell me that it's a miracle that I survived, that I should be dead after what I did because it should have worked. But I just wanted to talk about my near-death experience and what I saw. So I attempted suicide the way that I did. I'm not going to share how I attempted suicide because it's very effective and it should have worked, and I don't want to give anybody ideas on how to do it. I don't want to be responsible for something like that. But I will tell you what happened in my near-death experience. I should have died. I don't know if it was because they caught it really early enough that I was able to survive. At the time, I didn't want to survive, obviously, because that's why I attempted suicide. But what happened when I was unconscious is that I was in complete blackness, and it was like outer space without the stars, and I didn't have a body, and it was just my soul or spirit or whatever in the complete blackness. And so when I was in this complete blackness, like I said, you couldn't tell what was up and what was down, and it just a complete void. Reminds me of the Bible where it talks about the face of the deep, and that I felt like that's where I was, on the outskirts of reality and with God and closeness to God. But nothing was there. And I looked around and I said, God, where are you? I want to see you. That's why I killed myself, so I can be in heaven with you now. And it was silent for a little bit. And I remember in this empty space that my spirit was in, or my soul, that I was looking for God. And I was really happy because I thought that now I could be with God and I could be at peace and I could be at rest. And it was just blackness. So in this complete blackness, I heard a voice, and I didn't see anything. It's just still completely black, and I was looking around, and I heard this voice say, "Is this what you want?" And I said, "Of course this is what I want. This is why I killed myself, so I could be with you." And he said, "No, do you like this? Like, look around. What do you see?" "I don't see anything." "Do you like that?" And I was like, "No, I don't like that. I'm not in heaven, and I'm not in hell, and I don't know where I am, and I don't like this." But I could tell I was outside of something. And God said, "If you kill yourself, if you choose to die and come home now, this is what you get. Do you want this?" And I said, "No, I don't want this." And God said, "Then I want you to live out your life on earth. And when you die, you will get more than this. But if you choose to come home now, this is all you get. Do you want to come home?" And I said, "No, God, I don't want to come home yet." And I woke up and I touched my lips, and there was charcoal all over my lips. And it was black. And then immediately a doctor came in and said, "You're so lucky, you survived, you're awake, blah, blah, blah." And I was thinking, God, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be awake. And the doctor was just so overly bubbly and everything, and it was really annoying. And then I had a friend call me shortly after I woke up, and she blamed me for the suicide attempt and made me feel horrible and told me I brought it upon myself and all this kind of stuff. And instead of telling me I was loved, or that she was glad I was okay, or having any sort of compassion, it was just all my fault. And I was devastated, and I remember thinking, why did I choose to come back when all of this is my fault and there's no way that I could do anything right? So then I went to the 11th floor of St. Joseph Mental Hospital, and they dealt with me, and I felt loved and accepted there, and I started to get better. And I was in the mental hospital for a long time. I think most of the time when I'm in the mental hospital, I stay for like 3 months at least. The longest has been 5 months. But that was my first time being hospitalized for a suicide attempt. But like I said, I was very psychotic. And so I needed to be in a mental hospital. And my personal life was a huge, huge disaster. So a couple mistakes with that whole scenario is that if someone is just waking up from a suicide attempt, it's not a good idea to be mean to them and tell them everything they did wrong and how it's their fault and all that kind of stuff. The best advice I could give if someone is just waking up from a suicide attempt is just to tell them that you love them and that it's okay and that they don't need to be sorry, and just accept them and be in that same space with them. Realizing, oh my gosh, it's got to be really bad if they try to take their own life. I should feel not sorry for this person, but I should have some level of compassion to try to love them so they don't want to do it again. Not that your love can completely control someone if they're suicidal, but it does help when you wake up that people aren't angry at you. I believe, or I know, that if I had chosen to go at the time that I did, to leave Earth, if I had gone at that time, I believe that I would have spent the rest of eternity in darkness. And like there's a party in heaven and I'm on the outside and I can't see anything and I'm just in this complete blackness. So it's interesting to me because I didn't see God, or I didn't see Jesus, or I didn't have some other kind of angelic experience. It was just a voice I heard and a very clear image of blackness. But I remember in the blackness that I was myself. It was me in the blackness. It was my soul. It was my spirit. And I was somewhere else. And I was not on Earth. And I was on the outside. So whenever I think about committing suicide now, I remember that blackness, that in-between space, and that's where I'll be. But I do feel that if I live my life on Earth to the best of my ability and die a natural cause, that I will be greatly rewarded. And that reward, I can't say what it is, but I know then that I will be in the presence of God if I continue to live my life and do a good job to just stay alive. So that's what I'm hoping for now, is a natural death. Sometimes though, because of that near-death experience, I feel I'm much closer to touching death because I was already there once, and I feel my mortality very strongly, that I don't have time on this planet to. My life to me now feels very important, that I have a mission on Earth, that I don't know exactly what that mission is yet. It's not quite exactly clear, but I feel my time on Earth is very valuable, and that I am very precious, and that my time is precious, and I try not to waste time, and I try not to be afraid, and I try to do things that are outside of my comfort zone and push myself, because I know the humanity of my situation. I know the humanity of that if I get too sick, I could spend the rest of my life in a mental hospital. I know anytime if something happened that went wrong, or my medicine stopped working or something, that I would be in a mental hospital and I might live the rest of my life there. That's a very real reality for me. And I know our time on this planet is very, very short. I know that because my great-grandma always taught me about life, and that her life went so fast, and that you only live once, which everybody says, but seeing someone that was older and then having her pass away, I know that her story is over and I'm alive, and that I've got to do something great with the fact that I am alive, and know that too, just like she passed away, someday I will pass away. So I think about that Eminem song Legacy and him riding his bike through the neighborhood, and thinking about the legacy that he wants to leave behind. And what's my legacy? What is it that I leave behind for other people? And that's what's important to me and what drives me. Like, I would love to have a book or a journal from my great grandma and know some of the things that she faced. There's a lot of time in my life where I don't remember what I was doing or where I was, or things like that. One of them was when I was on valpuric acid. I have no memory of what I did the whole time I was on valpuric acid. So that's very scary. I don't know who I talked to, where I was, what I was doing. All I remember is I have one memory on the 4th of July, walking to my bed and thinking it's the 4th of July and I need to rest. Hi, Rose. You want to say hi? There you are. Rose is very, very sick right now. You want to bark again? You want to say hi? You want to go outside? I know. Okay, I'll let you out. The point of this video is just kind of like, I always wondered if someone tried to attempt suicide and survive, like what their experience was with suicide. I've always believed in God ever since I was really little, and I believe I was on the outskirts of the universe and that God was on the other side, and that I chose to not go to the afterlife, that I chose to come back. And that's when I woke up. As soon as I verbalized that commitment to come back, I came back. So for better, for worse, for whatever it's worth, that every day feels like a bonus day to me. And every day that I'm not in the mental hospital is a day that I don't want to waste, and that I want to do something great and amazing. And some days with just my life, all I can do is wake up and do dishes and go back to bed. It's a balancing act, living in recovery, from taking care of yourself and knowing your limitations versus healing and growing and recovering and changing from being, I don't want to say victim because that's not the right word, but we are victims of mental illness, to feeling in control of my life. I know that I could have ended my time on earth if I had chosen to go, but I'm still here. And so I think there's going to be something really amazing and really great come from my life, that I chose to stay, and I'm on a dedicated mission to find that and to leave something behind and help other people get out. So technically, I'd like to be a peer specialist to the United States of America and make videos in my book and try to educate and help people with mental illness just from my story. Well, I want to say goodnight, guys. I already made dinner, now just waiting for my husband to come home to have dinner, and I tried to cook good, healthy meals. So that's all that I'm doing today, and I just felt like sharing that. So please leave a comment if it's anything that you've thought about or experienced yourself with your journey to understand suicide and that kind of thing. But I can tell you right now that I'll never attempt suicide again after what I saw. And that vision keeps me going of what I don't want, and to try to build a beautiful life for myself that when I die I can be proud of, and be there for other people in the meantime. All right, well, thank you for watching and have a good night. Bye.